and welcome to another edition of NWBUC Virtual Sunday School. My name's Lori, and I'm really glad you're joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about our theme for this Sunday. I'm going to share a story with you, one of my favorite stories, and we have our special guests here this Sunday, which is the Manuel family, and they are going to be sharing what goes on at their house. So first of all, I want to talk about our theme for the day. So this theme is something that we do all the time, and especially at certain times of year, maybe special occasions or celebrations, and that is giving. So we all know what it's like to receive a gift. If someone gives us something, it makes us happy and excited and brings us joy when we receive a gift. Well, on the other side of things, when you give a gift to somebody, that actually is just as exciting if you think about it. In the Bible, Jesus actually says that it is better to give than to receive. And I want to talk about that a little bit with you. Well, receiving a gift is great because it's exciting and you know that this is especially for you and it makes you feel really good. Well, on the other hand, giving a gift also makes you feel really good inside because you know that you are cheering somebody else up and making them feel happy. Now, we don't always think of it that way. Oftentimes we think it's better to receive than to give because when you give, you no longer have what you've given away, but what you have instead is even more important because you have that feeling of love, that feeling of having done something really good, and that stays in your heart forever. Gifts come and go, but the giving is something that we will always remember because it makes us feel good about who we are. They say that giving actually lowers stress or worry or anxiety in people. It makes them feel that they are part of the larger world and that they can contribute. And to watch someone you love open a gift fills you with just as much joy as the receiver, as the one who's receiving the gift. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. And one of the Bible verses that you may remember, which is called the Golden Rule, and it's one that not just Christianity, but religions all around the world talk about this Golden Rule. And you may have remembered it from learning it together. And I'm going to read it to you, and you're going to see it pop up on your screen. The Golden Rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And this verse comes from Luke 6, verse 31 in the Bible. But like I said, faiths all over the world actually celebrate this golden rule because it's something that no matter who you are and where you live, what tradition, culture, or race you come from, every person knows that to do something nice for somebody else feels good, just as it feels good if someone does something nice for us. So can you say that together with me? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So that's just something to think about when you're thinking about what you do in a given day or a given week, that giving to other people actually fills us up with so much joy and love. And it's something that we should make a priority in our lives. It's something as a church that we do all the time. We give to other people, we help people that are in need within our own communities and around the world. And it's something that Jesus always did in the Bible. He was always explaining to his disciples how important it was to give to those in need, that it was more important than anything else. To show love and to give is probably the greatest thing that we can do in this life. So I'm going to share a story, like I said, that's one of my favorite stories. And I used to read this story to my kids when they were younger. And I will share it with you now. And hopefully you'll enjoy it too. So before I share the story with you, I want to tell you a little bit about it. Before we came to Barrie as a family, back about 13 years ago, we lived in the Maritimes. We lived in the province of New Brunswick. And one of my favorite parts of being in the Maritimes were all the beautiful flowers that would come out during the spring and summer. And one of my favorite flowers is something that when you drive through the Maritimes, you see everywhere, along the roadsides, in meadows, in people's gardens. But everywhere you travel, on hillsides, in valleys, you'll see these flowers. And you'll see a picture of them on the screen. And these flowers are called lupins. And they just make everything look so lovely. And this particular picture was taken when we were visiting PEI. And the story I'm going to share with you today is one that I bought when we lived in New Brunswick at one of the local bookstores. And it's a story that has lupins as part of it. And it's called Miss Rumphius. It's by Barbara Cooney. And she wrote the story and she painted the pictures. The Lupin Lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The Lupin Lady is little and old now, but she has not always been that way, I know. She is my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice, who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see all the wharfs and bristling masts of tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. Now he worked in the shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the bows of ships and carving different figurines out of wood to put in the front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures too of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places. And when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather. "But there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was grown up. Then my great aunt Alice set out to do the 3 things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far from the sea and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up, and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places. People called her Miss Rumphius now. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumphius, "but not quite." So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical island, where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked on long beaches, picking up beautiful shells. One day she met the Bapa Raja, king of a fishing people. "You must be tired," he said. "Come to my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Bapa Raja's wife. The Bapa Raja himself fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so that Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Bapa Raja gave her a beautiful mother-of-pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine too," said Miss Rumphius. My great aunt, Miss Alice Rumphius, climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping. And everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumphius. "Well, I have certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it's time to find my place by the sea." And it was, and she did. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it across the heavens and sparkle on the water, and she saw it set in glory in the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. "But there is still one more thing I have to do," she said. "I have to do something to make the world more beautiful." "But what?" "The world already is pretty nice," she thought, looking out over the ocean. The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. "Lupins," said Miss Rumphius with satisfaction. "I have always loved lupins the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could still have more flowers next year." But she was not able to. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon she started to go up and over the hill, where she had not been in a long time. "I don't believe my eyes," she cried when she got to the top, for there on the other side of the hill was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupins. "It was the wind," she said as she knelt in delight. "It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds have helped." Then Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupin seeds. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands, sowing lupins. She scattered seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her any more at all. Now some people called her that crazy old lady. Next spring, there were lupins everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third, the most difficult thing of all. My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupins. Now they call her the Lupin Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted the fields of lupins. When she invites us in, they came slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her, I too will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. "That is all very well, little Alice," says my aunt, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" I ask. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful." "All right," I say. But I do not yet know what that will be. The end. So I love that story about the Lupin Lady, and it's a wonderful idea as to where all those beautiful lupins that cover the Maritimes have come from. It's a bit of a legend, that story. So it's not necessarily true, but it's a lovely idea. And really what it teaches us is about giving. It was wonderful how her grandfather taught Alice that among her dreams of seeing the world and living by the sea, she needed to do one more thing, really the most important thing of all, and that was to make the world more beautiful. And she did that by giving of herself. She searched her heart and she found a way to give back, give to the earth and give to the world in a beautiful way that people could see for years to come. And that was by planting her little seeds, her lupin seeds. And really when we give of ourselves, when we give to others, whether it be maybe a gift or whether it's doing something beautiful for someone or giving of our talents, we are helping to make the world a more beautiful place. And that's what God wants from us, and that's what Jesus taught his disciples. That in everything we do, we should think about giving as our #1 priority, because really to give is the best gift of all. It fills your heart and makes you feel that you are doing something very important. So I want you to think about ways that you might be able to give in your life. Maybe something special that you could do for somebody else. And I want to give you another example of something really wonderful that I found the other day when I was going for a walk with my daughter Rachel. And you're not going to believe this, but it has to do with rocks again. So we were on a walk through the woods and we noticed a little sign. And you'll see it up on your screen. And the sign invited the people that went through the woods to follow the rocks that they had hidden on a little scavenger hunt. And so I'm going to show you a picture of those rocks and you'll see them one by one there. They numbered them and each one has a little message. So you'll see with this little scavenger hunt that was created in the neighborhood where we were walking, the people who made it had a little message on each rock that people were to find. And the first one says simply love. The second one had a picture of a cat. You can see the third one has the message have fun. The fourth says I'm slowly going crazy, and I have a feeling that this treasure hunt was made during the quarantine, maybe. And finally, the message on the fifth rock is here comes the sun, which is a message of hope. So I love that little rock scavenger hunt that somebody made in their woods just to be kind and to give to somebody else. They wanted to spread a little bit of fun and make the world a more beautiful place by giving other children, other families that scavenger hunt to play. And it was something that I'm sure whoever made it enjoyed doing. The thought that other people would get pleasure from it and would find happiness in doing the scavenger hunt was something that filled them up, and that's what giving is all about. So maybe you can find something this week that helps you to remember that getting involved in the world and giving of yourself is really the most important thing we can do. Which leads me to one more rock I want to show you. It's one that I wrote on years ago, and it's one that I keep on my dresser in my room. And the message on the rock you'll see in the screen is get involved. The world is run by those who show up. And that's an important thing to remember, that it's important for us to give and to be a part of this world and to do the things for others that we know will make them feel good. Because if we get involved, we know that it's going to be a better and more beautiful place. So that's the lesson on giving for today. And now I'm happy to introduce our special guests this week, which is the Manuel family, and they are going to show us what goes on at their house.
I can't believe I missed the garbage man this morning. I don't understand why my body always makes me wait for a treat. I just want to go for a walk. Oh boy, I can hardly wait. I can hardly wait. Here I go. All the neighbors are out. I'm so excited. So excited. I love to sit and watch my boy read. For a while. Oh yeah, that's it. Oh, somebody's here! Somebody's here to visit me! I don't know who it is, but oh, they must be here to see me. They must be. Oh, I can hear them, I can see them. I've got visual. Oh my gosh, I get to play with my girlfriend Sadie. This is so much fun. Come here, Sadie. Come on, Sadie. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Oh, this is so much fun. Oh yes, thank you, thank you. Don't touch my mom though. She wants to be. Oh yes, this is great, this is great. Oh yeah, it's time to play with the ball. Oh, keep away. It's my favorite game. There goes Sadie. Oh, I'm so tired. Sadie wears me out. She wears me out. Oh my gosh, I love this game. I can't wait. Oh, I think my girl's in here. I'm not sure though. Oh, I'm just gonna sniff around a little. Where'd she go? Where's my girl? Where'd she go? Oh, I know my girl's in here somewhere. Where'd she go? Where is she? Oh my gosh. She's hard to get. Oh, there she is. Oh, now I'm happy. Oh gosh. This pandemic, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I just love it. Pandemic times.
Thank you so much to the Manuel family for showing us what goes on at your house. And I'm going to remind everybody that the challenge this week is for you to find something or some way that you can give. And it could be giving a gift, it could be doing something kind for somebody, it could be creating a scavenger hunt for people, it could be giving of yourself in a different way, like singing a song for somebody or creating a beautiful work of art to share. Giving of yourself is all about being creative and thinking of ways that you can make the people around you smile and ways that you can make our world a more beautiful place. And before I go, I want to share one more example of giving. And what you need to do is click on the link that we will show you at the end of this virtual Sunday school. And what it is a link to a YouTube video that was done by the One Voice Children's Choir. And some of you may know that We have used some of their songs during Christmas pageants over the years, and they do a beautiful rendition of a song called Memories by Maroon 5. And they're doing it during quarantine because they can't be together as a choir, of course. And it's a beautiful message letting people know that even though we can't be together, the memories that we have will sustain us until the time that we can be together again. Those memories will get us through. And I wanted to share that with you because it's just such an inspiring gift that they give with the gift of their music. So I'll leave that with you today, and I want to thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.